Hello, everyone, and welcome to VR Verdict, episode 77, our weekly podcast where we talk about everything VR. I am PJ, and Wookie is not here again. We did these last two episodes back to back, so he will be back on the next one if you miss him. If not, we get it. No, just kidding. But this episode, we're talking to Rosie Summers, a VR artist and animator. She does live performances in VR of painting. Check the show notes for links. And definitely check out some of this stuff. It's amazing. Once I start looking at these things, I end up spending half the day in VR just watching artists work and their animations and everything they create. It's amazing. I'm glad to finally get to talk to her. We've been trying to set up for a while, but without further ado, here's Rosie Summers.
Hello. Testing. Hello.
How's it going?
Oh, I'm good. At last, we can finally chat. I'm so sorry about all of those dates. Man, I've been so busy.
Obviously so busy, so I just appreciate you making time.
Oh no, I've been wanting to be on this podcast for ages now, and it's an honor to be here speaking.
Oh, I appreciate that. My co-host / brother won't be joining us. He's on a family thing this weekend, so I hope it's okay. There's just no.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So how's it going over there?
Yeah, good. Very busy, obviously, and been quite a heat wave at the minute, which has made wearing VR very hard.
Yeah.
I must say. Yeah, we don't usually get heat waves over here in the UK. It's usually always rain and clouds, so we always complain as well. We complain when it's raining, we complain when it's hot, just because we've got no AC, so it's just so sweaty. And but other than that, all good.
From a couple of the people I've talked to the past couple of years, just in VR, It sounds like that's kind of been a trend. It's been getting a little warmer, and the heat waves. Like here, I'm in the Midwest in Wisconsin, and yesterday, this whole week, it's been in the high 90s. So, it's kind of scary.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I just can't imagine that sort of heat.
So, yeah, for all of us VR freaks, putting the headset on and just being in a warmer room, it's not a good thing.
It's really not. You just look at your headset, you're like, man, I don't want to put that on right now.
Yeah, because I work out in my headset every morning, and in the summer it's like, maybe I should just go ride my bike.
Get some fresh breeze.
So I have to tell you, like, we first got into VR, we were big gamers, and that's the first thing that was on our mind was gaming. But very shortly after, I saw a clip of yours. I think it was there was like you're doing like a rock golem painting or something like that, and I was just like, what the hell is this? And you're just dancing around like in the painting. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I didn't even know that was a thing, and I'm like, I have to see this. So I'm just curious, how did you get into VR painting? Were you like an artist before that, or did you get into VR and then you had the same thing, like, oh, this is a thing? Or what happened?
Yeah, so I have always been an artist, predominantly a storyteller. So like when I was a kid, I was always telling stories, making stories, and doing like little comic strips, my own little comic strips. So I've always been telling stories mainly through art forms. Obviously I did fine art at high school, just not studied it, just like a subject that was at high school. And that was the only path of art I really knew, was fine art, just because that's all I got introduced to as a child. So I took up traditional painting, and it was mainly portraiture that I was interested in. I wasn't interested in doing environments or backgrounds or anything like that, really. And So after obviously doing fine art, I was then looking at another way to tell stories, because I got bored of the canvas and static paintings on flat frames, and I really wanted to sort of play around with telling stories through motion and bringing more life to the way I tell stories, which is when I found animation. So that's when I studied animation at university, and it was through studying animation that I found VR, because I was looking at ways to, because I was studying 3D animation really specifically, and I was looking at a way to make a story that someone could be inside, or someone that can come inside my story and interact with it. So that's when I was looking at games as well, and learning about game engines and stuff like that. And it was the little Google Cardboard demo experience that introduced me to the world of VR. And that's when I really realized the power of it. And that was like a little, it's not a great demo, like if you look back at it and stuff, but man, it was fantastic to me back then, to see an animated world just through the screen of my phone. I was like cast through into this other little dimension with a little fox or a wolf, I think it was actually, who led me on this little journey, and this big whale comes out over the boat. It was really immersive, and that was just like a little 3'd off Google Cardboard experience that really blew me away.
Yeah.
And then that video of Glen Keane, I'm sure you've seen that, of painting Ariel in tilt brush. That was when I just was like, holy wow, this is amazing. He's painting in this world around him. He's not stuck to a canvas. He's painting in the space. And his movements were being recorded through paint strokes. And that just really fascinated me as an artist. And I think any artist would be blown away with the fact that they could actually live inside their paint and create these vast worlds around themselves. And that's when the way I created art changed, because I was no longer focusing on portraiture, which I did traditionally. I was suddenly had this urge to create worlds and environments, which never appealed to me ever on the canvas. But suddenly, when I was given this spatial outlet, I went crazy, and now I'm obsessed with creating fantastical worlds and landscapes that people can exist inside and explore.
Yeah, and I'm curious. So when you made the change and you're like, kind of transitioned into like backgrounds and environments, like you said, how long did it take you to adapt to like going from the flat canvas to in VR to like, oh wow, because I've tried it and it wasn't great. It wasn't pretty what I did. I spent 3 hours in there, and I came up. I used to have it as our opening. It was just like me writing the letters VR verdict, and I'm like, that's terrible. I'm just curious, like, how, because you can like step behind, like you make a paint stroke and you can like step behind it and around it. Like, how do you keep that stuff on the same plane?
Yeah.
It's so, I don't know how you do it.
See, for me, because I was coming from, I was studying animation, you see, and I was doing 3D animation. So I'd already come from a 3D background, which made jumping into VR sort of a lot easier, because it meant, instead of being like what you do when you're modeling in 3D programs, for example, is you have a side view, a front view, and a top view, and you just have to keep going between them all to get your model correct. And it's just really convoluted. You press spacebar, you go onto your views, and you click it. Just ugh. But with VR, just being able to move around it as I wanted, it's just so organic and tangible that it just made 3D work really fast. So if anything, it was like an easy transition for me. But I have had like loads of experience with artists who are predominantly 2D based, who just that struggle with the other perspectives. But what VR allows you to do is just get used to the other perspective really easily, just because of the fact that you can rotate the world around. The world's like really malleable, and like being constricted with a mouse and a computer screen, you just can reach in, grab all the components you want, and you learn the space really fast with just being able to move around it so easily. And so to me, it's like it's like that transition from 2D to like 3D platforms. You can use that middle ground as well, because it just makes you and helps you adapt to that space.
And you make it look so freaking easy. It's
You're too kind.
Wookie and I have sat in on a few of your I don't know what you call it. One was a master class. The other was like a Narnia thing. I don't want to say it's like
Oh
a
yeah,
class, but you had
performance.
like some live performances, and I was just
Yes.
like, I couldn't talk during. It was just like so crazy how you're just like, I'm gonna just go here and do this, and you do it. It's like I can't even draw a stick figure.
Oh.
Okay, it's too
Oh,
bad he's not here because he's a really good artist and he's done
yeah.
animation and he kind of
Oh
went to
wow.
school for gaming, so he'd
Nice.
be able to talk to you on your level a little more than I can. um, and that was back in March, and I think the other one was April when you did that. How often do you do those types of things?
Yeah, yeah, quite often now. It was I used to do them physical, so obviously I
Hmm,
used to be on a stage in front of people.
nice.
But obviously can't be around people much anymore. So I had to sort of switch that part of what I do to be virtual. So I got invested in a green screen, some lights, made this little virtual production suite in my attic, and that's now become a thing. Virtual performances, and they're just so exhilarating because well, with virtual ones, it feels like there's more pressure because with physical ones, it was like people were sat watching me, but they often like were drifting around a space because I was often in art exhibitions and openings and events and stuff like that. So people were always either talking or doing something, or never have really had my full undivided attention. I mean, some people did, but with virtual ones, it's sort of like I don't know what the audience is doing. They might just be sat watching me. They might be clicking on other browsers. So it's like people might just be sat watching me with the full attention,
I know I
and I
was.
can't. Oh, thank you. So that was like, oh my gosh, I've got to really pull it out the bag to be like entertaining and think of way to captivate these people who have tuned into me, which obviously I'm really grateful of. So yeah, it's exhilarating because you can't see the audience, and which is a good thing as well because you can easily just get lost.
Sure.
You can easily just escape and pretend that people aren't there for a second, and then you're just dancing away on your own.
I like the setup of the last one. You had a gentleman there kind of mediating almost like we were asking questions in chat and you were just painting and painting and he was kind of like what he could answer he would, and then he
Yeah.
saved what he didn't know until you were done, and then when you finished he took the headset off, joined us, and we were talking, so it was really neat.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so that was that the Narnia one because I think that
Yep.
was my
Yep.
that was my favorite performance. That's the that started off a bit shakily, I would say, just because I wasn't like used to it. So I've sort of got into the flow now, and
Sure.
that was my most favorite performance. That I loved that probably because I just connected with it a lot as well, with it
Right.
being Narnia and a childhood nostalgia of mine. So yeah, it's
Hey,
also good to have that input on the chat as well, because I really want to give something back to the people which have actually come to see me, and obviously really grateful. I want to tell everyone how grateful I am.
yeah, it was just so neat. You drew the wardrobe obviously, and then
Yeah.
for anyone listening that hasn't seen this kind of artwork, like you can move around in the space in the painting, and you went through the wardrobe and then started painting the world. It was just like, wow. And the
Thank
my
you.
favorite thing of VR is perspective, and
Yeah.
like you're able to like, well, I guess I'll just say zoom out or in, so you can
Mm,
paint like this little bitty thing and you would zoom in, and then it was like just like the Ice Queen, for example, was like, I'm like,
yeah.
I think that's what she's painting, and then you like would zoom in or out to change the perspective, and it's like, holy crap, with like two strokes you had like something there. So nuts.
Yeah, because it's really hard to deal with scale in mixed reality because I can quite often put something in front of the camera and not realize.
Hmm.
Because I got to move the world around and not block what you guys are seeing at the same time. So I've got to keep working to different scales and perspectives, which is often quite confusing. I even have like a little bit of like tape on the floor so I can feel
Sure.
where I'm standing, so I'm not blocking any camera view and stuff like that. Little things like that I have to work around to make sure that the audience are getting the best view of everything at the same time.
Yeah. So aside from the live performances and your artwork, you also do like artwork for like actual games, like VR games and stuff. How
Yes.
do you That's what we said at the start of the show. Like you're just so busy. So how do you
Oh yeah.
find time for all these things?
Yeah, so I work at a game studio full time as well, which is really exciting because I've always wanted to be in the games industry. It's just always been a thing ever since I've been a kid and playing games. It's always something that I've wanted to do. So I just feel so grateful that I'm in this industry and doing something that I love in it as well. Because obviously I'm an animator. And I'm at this company. I do 3D animations. Is XR Games that I work at, and
Nice.
so I just spend all my days bringing characters to life, whether that be zombies or Angry Birds, which we've a few exciting projects we've worked on there. And we've got some other stuff in store as well, which I sadly can't talk about, but it's exciting
Nope.
stuff.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like the Zombieland game is great. The only thing
Oh,
with the
awesome.
Angry Birds one, I was angry about because it's only on PS4, and
Yeah,
that's
I
the only one I
know.
have.
Oh no, and it's such a good game as well. It's like
Yeah,
overcooked style
I
chaos.
know
It's
exactly, and I'm
so
like, I
fun.
so want to play that.
I know. Yeah, it's a shame that it's an exclusive there. Yeah, I do want like more people to play it because it was really fun to work on and animate the little naughty piggies.
So um did that come from just doing what you normally do, and they're like, or was that like a separate goal of yours to
Yeah,
actually work
well,
on games?
yeah, it was two passions of mine really, this VR art and animation. And obviously I studied animation. When I graduated, I was like looking around companies close to me, and I really struck lucky that there was this company opening up like only 15 minutes away from my house, which was
Nice.
just amazing. I don't have to travel really that far. And I managed to get a job, a junior role. And that was 3 years ago ish now, no, coming up to 3 years ago. And that's how I got in there, really, just doing a lot of what I was doing at uni was games based, like idols and walk cycles and stuff like that, all to do with
Sure.
games characters. So it was just a nice transition into the industry there. And I often do some VR art stuff as well at the company for previs. Never like the final outcome, more just planning levels. So level
Sure.
design in VR art tools, just because there's no better view than actually just like being inside the world and scaling everything up, and you can see and get a good view for what looks good in VR because I'm in
Hmm.
VR making it. So I've done a few bits like that, especially for Angry Birds. A lot of the DLC levels we were all concepted in VR first, and sort of did like a roller
Nice.
coaster journey through the scene that the game designer had like put the headset on and had a look round. And that was really fun to do. And also we could see how many assets we could get away with in the scene to make it look populated, yet not like
Sure.
chunk the frame rate down and stuff.
Yeah. So do they say, "Hey, Rosie, we need like a forest level. Hop in there," and
Yes.
that's
It was like
awesome.
that, yeah. It was like we were doing a Halloween level. Can you
Oh, that's
give
awesome.
us a little bit of some what looks good in VR-ness, basically? So like, I did some overhanging trees and stuff like that, and yeah, it was really fun.
I can't imagine you like getting to do those things and get paid for it because you
I
obviously
know,
love it so much.
I know. Yeah, I feel really lucky that I can do something that I love, and it doesn't feel like that's probably why I'm able to work so much, is because it doesn't really feel like I'm working most of the time. So
Sure.
yeah.
I'm not going trying to get personal, but and we can cut this out if you want. But you were saying like I offered to do this, we just got into VR
Yeah.
space and stuff and said, "Hey, do you want to do this in VR?" And you brought up having migraines and all that fun
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Is that a VR specific thing, or is that just something that you have to deal with
See,
anyway?
I don't know. It's not. I don't actually know why I'm getting this, but I think it's. I went to the opticians, and it was I've got long sightedness, so I have to wear glasses for things
Hmm.
which are close up. So I'm thinking it's just because putting on a headset, and then I've got these glasses, which I obviously can't wear in the headset. But the fact that I need it to see close up, I think it's just causing some vision migraines, just
Sure.
because the headset is close up, even though it's making you look further away, like through convergence and stuff. And, but it is because I'm looking at something so close to me. So I have a feeling it's just because I'm long-sighted and it's a vision issue. So I've got some lenses on the way, some VR lenses, which I'm going to put in and see if that helps. So I just try and limit the amount of time that I'm, just because I work a lot in VR, like I spend a good hours each day in a headset. So I try my best to sort of split those hours up and take lots of breaks because, I care about my sight, but nothing serious at all. It's just, I think, just my vision is just screwing up.
I only brought it up because, like, aside from the work in the games, just doing your own art, like you kind of suffer for your own art. So
yeah, I know. Yeah, it does feel a little bit like that at the minute. I posted a tweet about it actually as well, like the fact that I'm wearing glasses and stuff. So
I was gonna ask.
to
You
get
said
some
you had
help.
lenses on
Yeah,
the way, and I
yeah,
was curious if you had gotten them yet. Obviously you haven't. So I just, because my brother wears glasses and he has like
yeah.
spacers and lenses in there, and it helps. So I hopefully it works out for you. Because
Yeah, I think I found my spacer and put it in my original Rift, but it's just on the pressure on my nose. It's just so much. I can't help but focus on it that it's pushing down on my nose. So I think some special tailored VR lenses would be an ace investment.
to prepare, I went not really for this chat, but yesterday was my wife's birthday, and we rented a private local place and had her family in there, and we were painting. So I was trying to prep. I have paint all over me. So
That sounds ace.
is there anything like that? Because I know, like, the lady teaching us, like, she obviously loves to have paint all over her. I don't. Is there anything from like traditional painting or stuff that you kind of wish was you miss from that's not in VR, like getting paint everywhere?
Yeah, absolutely. I really want to do some traditional painting again, just because it's you can't replace that texture. You can't replace the texture and the feeling. And like if you look at a Van Gogh, for example, you just see every single dab of paint, and it's 3D. It's popping out. I just loved that sort of texture working. The physicality of it, which is good, but VR does have that physicality that digital art lacks. Like when you're using an art tablet, I feel like VR does give some of that tactility back in that sense, but you can never fully replicate that feeling of putting some paint on a brush and just slapping it on there.
Yeah, you don't get the smells either, I'm sure.
Oh, and the smells. I was going to say the terps, man. I need to smell that terps.
You just have open bottles of paint while you're running around in VR.
Yeah. Just hold it under my nose whilst I paint in VR.
Do you find that doing art digitally, do you edit your work more or less than you would traditionally?
Yeah, a good thing with Tilt Brush is it still has that I'm trying to think of the right words to say it. Like, when you like forgiving. Tilt Brush isn't very forgiving in the fact that when you paint something, you can't edit the stroke. So it's like, that's it. You painted it. You can move it around. You can like grab it and move it, but you can't like grab the stroke itself and move it around, which you obviously can do in like Photoshop and Quill as well. You can do it in Quill, but Tilt Brush isn't. So I think that's also for a reason, is so it keeps its traditional arty feel, because I think that's what it does have, because with the variety of brushes it has, and a lot of the brushes have so much texture as well, which it's obviously trying to replicate from paint, and a lot of the brushes were actually created by artist paint strokes. They scanned them in and created alpha maps and stuff of an actual ink stroke and stuff like that. So it's very much got that traditionally oil painty vibe to it, which I really liked in comparison to like Quill and stuff. So it does feel a little bit like traditional painting in the fact that when you paint, you can either delete the stroke, move it, but you can't like edit it or recolor bits of it. It's all just there. You got to just paint over and just keep layering and layering up, which does make it feel traditional in that aspect.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, like I mentioned, like I tried. I think it was tilt brush. I tried first. You have like you open the palette and there's so many tools.
Yeah.
It's really overwhelming. I don't, obviously you're probably used to it, but
yeah, no, I still feel that actually. So obviously I've got used to what each brush does and that now, but I totally understand how putting a headset on, being in this blank space with a palette of so many things can really overwhelm someone.
Yeah. I was just curious, like as an artist, like I said, you make it look so easy. You just start, you go. Like, what's the process with that? Like, do you visualize and like you can kind of see what you want to do and you just know how to get there? Or do you just grab a brush, put one stroke down and then go from there? Like, what's the process?
It always depends actually, because sometimes I'm in the mood to just jam, which is basically put the headset on and just see where my imagination takes me in this spatial world. Or sometimes I make a mood board of what I want to do. So I get like some color palettes together, I paint some colors down and like get some swatches, which I just drag inside the virtual world and work from there. So it all depends on the mood, because sometimes I'm feeling more experimental, sometimes I'm wanting to actually create something proper, or like I have a set vision of what I want to do. So it does often depend on my mood there. But I know when I enter VR, everything I do every single time is have like a little bit of a warm-up session. So this usually includes putting on some 90s dance music and
Nice.
jamming out with some light brushes just to warm me up. And it's like a creative mind thing, just getting used to that virtual space and getting those creative juices flowing.
And I was getting like links and ready for the show notes of like your website and all that, and you have on your website you have like obviously a demo thing of you doing many different things, but I don't know, it's the art and your outfits and the music. I sat here for like 10 minutes just watching it. I gotta get ready. I gotta get my stuff ready.
Thank you.
How much fun is it just to like find like you're almost like cosplaying in a way, like just finding a nice outfit that matches your experience and then you're just dancing around. Like it's almost frustrating to someone like me, because it's like I sit there and I'm like with a paintbrush in VR and I'm like, paint something, idiot. And you're just like dancing around, slinging paint around, and
I'm so happy you noticed the outfit changes, because I was really proud of myself that for Inktober, which is where you do a painting each day, I actually had a different outfit for all 31 days, which I was really impressed with myself about. So I'm so glad you noticed that. Yeah, and each one I had to carefully think about what I was painting and try and make it match somehow. Sometimes it wasn't so successful, but most of the time it did match up there. So I really appreciate that, because a big thing with mixed reality is the fact that I can really play with that and harmonizing my physical form with the virtual form, with the virtual space. So just marrying and syncing those two versions of myself up is really a goal which I like to do. I always try and match out.
Yeah. The dancing pumpkin's pretty epic.
Oh, that was so fun. That was just so fun. That was a proper dog there, but I just loved that, dancing around with the pumpkin head and face stuff. That was great.
So what does your family think of all of this? Are they blown away, or are they because I see a couple different reactions. Like my wife will watch me play VR. She's unable to because she gets motion sickness from like movies.
Yeah.
So she still finds I'll pause and like get a drink of water, and she'll just be standing there laughing at me, watching me be an idiot in VR. But some people are like, they just don't get it, but some people do. So I was just curious.
Yeah, it's a good question actually. Never been asked that, which is nice. It's mainly a lot of them just don't know what the hell I'm talking about. It's like, Rosie does the VR.
She's doing something.
she does the VR. It's just let her do that and carry on. I don't know what she's on about. I have demoed it to my family before, so I've put my mum in tilt brush. like it. Oh, actually, no, it was Beat Saber that my mum's tried, and she absolutely loved that. And my dad's done a few experiences, and they also get that motion sickness, which is really hard. With one experience they didn't. I can't remember which one it was, but they pretty enjoyed it. So they don't really fully get what I'm doing. I try and describe the best I can. I show videos, obviously, of my mixed reality performances, and that's really helped as the mixed reality element, just to contextualize. Because I tell people that I just dance around with a headset on my face, and they don't really know what I'm on about. So watching that video of me actually inside the world just really contextualizes it, and then people like, yeah, my family have just have sort of got through that. But yeah, it's hard to explain sometimes.
Yeah, I remember it still happens once in a while, but a couple years ago, because this podcast we've been doing for about a year now, over a year.
Yeah.
But we did another one, just a silly one that I don't even like to talk about, but we did it for 5 or 6 years. And back then, like, you'd say, tell someone you do a podcast, like, what the hell is a podcast? So I just assume VR is quite similar.
Yeah.
And the bad thing with VR is no matter how good your video is, it does not showcase VR at all. Like, you can't even... It doesn't help much.
Yeah.
Like, put the headset on. Don't talk to me.
To be honest, not even with VR, just with games in general. Like when my first published game, which was Angry Birds, I showed the physical disc to my parents, and they went, "Oh, did you paint that?" No, I did not paint the front disc cover. I did not.
That's awesome.
It's really hard to describe that I animated the characters in the game. Just to look at the box, and it's like, that's what I did. I did the box. Okay.
Did they I don't know, like, the transitions and stuff, but like they obviously knew you were into painting and stuff beforehand, so
that's what it is. I don't think they've really. They still think I just paint all the time. So anything I show them now, it's like they just painted it. Funny.
So outside of VR and work, like what do you get up to? What are you into, type of thing?
Mainly trying to get out and explore the world and get in touch with nature is what I love to do. And this is what inspires me most, I think, just being out in nature, absorbing myself in the greenscape, going on walks, hiking and stuff like that. That's what really, it just fuels me. I can't imagine... I feel really lucky that I'm close to like a nature space, because I don't know what I'd do without it. It really is like just my fuel, basically.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Not that we've never gone kayaking, but we just bought our own
I'd love
kayaks.
to go kayaking.
And I spend more time in the kayak, like taking photos of like water and underwater things, and instead of doing the kayaking.
Yeah. That's amazing. I'm so jealous. I'd love to go kayaking. Absolutely love it.
You've done a few like underwater pieces, and like underwater stuff to me is just so amazing. That's my favorite stuff. So that's kind of why I sit in that kayak and take pictures of it. But
yeah, I guess my biggest interests are like right up above the earth and then right below the earth. Like, I love space, but I'm also really fascinated by underwater creatures, and I guess it's the unknown aspects that always really intrigue us, and that's what VR's been good at as well, is offering us that space to immerse inside things that we wouldn't usually be near.
Yeah, that's true. The other thing with the underwater stuff that I've found, like, I love underwater stuff, and I'm a big Shark Week person, and I love sharks and stuff, but to watch that stuff in VR is kind of frightening to me.
It is. No, I agree. It's scary.
Yeah.
It really is. Just the fact that there's loads of stuff in underwater we don't know about. That's really scary to me.
Yeah. Horror stuff's the same way. Like, I had a friend that was into horror, like, in high school, and I watched so many bizarre movies, and I'm like, okay, that was cool, but they don't really affect me. And games, like, never really scared me, but anything in horror, like, horror in VR is my kryptonite.
Oh
Like I have
yeah.
yet to like.
Yeah, I'm totally with you there. Absolutely with you there. I'm quite weak on the scale of horror anyway. So even like the Resident Evil games are just far too much. No. So never mind being in VR and having that experience. I think no. I think I'd just leave my body. I'd just die.
Yeah, I'm more afraid for my headset's well-being than my own.
Yeah.
I just toss it across the room.
Tear it off and throw it across the room.
So coming like VR as a medium, are you happy with VR as is, or are you wanting more out of it, or where do you see it kind of going?
Yeah, I think it's still got a lot of growth. I think it's still a
Hmm.
lot more that I really want from VR, especially just comfort, man. That's the biggest thing
Yeah,
for me is just why make a headset that's something you put on your head, right? Why make it so it's not very nice to wear? I don't
yeah,
understand the logic there. You created like some great specs and visual immersion. Why can't I enjoy that visual immersion if I can't wear the headset for longer than 5 minutes? I mean, come on. So I just would love to see more comfort options. This is coming from someone with a small head, who most headsets just have to wear like excessive padding around
yeah.
the forehead and on the back, which is why the index is so good because it comes with that little cushion they can just like slot in and put it on. So that's just perfect. More of that, please, is what I'd love to see. And options for accommodating for head sizes, people's hair types, and
Yeah.
just more inclusivity with the headsets all around is what I'm majorly in for because visually, like I'm impressed. I'm there. I'm really impressed by a lot of the new headsets and stuff, and the field of view, which is forever expanding, which is great. I'm really impressed with the way things are at technological wise. It's just making the headsets more transparent, feeling like they're not there. Eliminating the fact that it feels like you are putting on a headset and maybe changing it to more like a glasses. I see that being very
Yeah.
far in the future, obviously, because this is really high powered stuff. But yeah,
Even if they can get it to like a goggle thing, like
yeah,
that's
there's a
sort of
pair of
like,
goggles. Yeah, I'm,
um,
I'm down for that.
yeah, and that's coming from you seem to have quite the collection of headsets. You have a nice display I've seen.
Yeah, a
But
lot of it is a lot of it. With the I don't know if you've heard the stuff that we're doing with Icosa Gallery.
hmm
A lot of it is for that. So we've got headsets to try OpenBrush on, which is our open source version of Tiltbrush that the
Nice.
community have been working on. So yeah, a lot of it's so we can test all these different headsets with the OpenBrush build. Predominantly nowadays use the Index and Original Rift just because of Quill. I use Quills
Hmm.
sometimes as well, so I still need to be using an Oculus device, and I've just never upgraded really. I've got the Quests, but as I said, I just can't. I can't understand any longer than 5 minutes in those. It's just too front heavy. I'd need to invest in a sturdy, what's it called? Strap, deluxe straps.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, my main headset's still my Rift CV1, and
Yep.
when
Snap.
that thing
Yeah.
dies, I'm gonna be so sad because it's so
Yeah.
amazing. Like I know it's not the best, but to me, it's all
No.
around. It is the best. Like,
It is. I know. I'm totally with you there. I actually am. Yeah. Even though I've scratched the lenses a lot now, so it's a bit
mm,
blurry visual wise inside. But yeah, the comfort's great. I have a little thing to balance it, just because it is a little bit front heavy still. But I
yeah,
have this little bit of a strap to the back, and it's just the most comfortable headset that I own. It's just lightweight, and you're right. It's good. I feel like mine's coming on its last legs now, though. It's I keep having like the red error when I plug it in and stuff. I don't
oh,
know why. I wiggle it around and it works, but I'm worried. I'm worried
yeah,
about it. Might have to buy one on eBay soon.
yeah. I'm worried about the controllers for me. But yeah, just
Oh
the
yeah.
comfort and the audio, and I have it set up. The cords are all put up on my ceiling, so like it's no different
Perfect.
to put that on than it is like one of my quests. Like it's just
Mm.
as easy. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm all for room scale as well. I'm not a fan
Mm,
of the headsets which have is it outside in or in I can't remember
yeah.
which one it is. Where they have the
Inside
cameras
out
in the
tracking.
heads. That's it, yeah. Inside out tracking, where they have the cameras on the headset. I don't like those because when I'm performing especially it's like just as my arm just goes a little bit further back, and it just goes wee. The controller just floats off in space, and I just can't be dealing with that. Not when I'm in a performance. So I really need the base stations, which is why I use predominantly the index now and stuff like that.
Yeah, I like where they're going, but I wish they'd include the older options like the sensors as well, because
for us hardcore people, I'd say.
And if you have the space and stuff, like you can't beat it.
Yeah, I mean, Facebook have definitely gone around the casual route, but yeah, I agree.
So I'm curious, and there's a lot of different artists in VR. Do you have any juicy gossip? Like, do you guys get into any squabbles or paint offs or? I'm just kidding.
There's to be honest, there are a few paint offs actually. I saw one of them coming at the minute. I don't like participating in them really, but I find them, they're so cool just to see all these artists battling out and stuff like that. And I love the art challenges, the VR Art Live art challenges and stuff like that. They're fantastic. I love those. The community is just really, really great. It's really good to be a part of it, and just fantastic people. And I'm forever inspired by all my peers and stuff like that. It's just lovely that there's this community. I remember back in 2017 when I was just starting out, and it was just, really hard to find people which were like-minded in this aspect, because it was very, very niche at that time. And to just watch it and be a part of in the middle of it, watching it flourish has been the most amazing thing, and I've met some friends for life.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was just joking with the rivalries and stuff, because the VR community is so amazing.
It really is. Yeah.
I don't think that would happen yet. That's the kind of scary part. If it gets, if VR gets too popular, it'll just kind of go that route. But hopefully not.
Hopefully not. I don't see that happening now. But there have actually been some paint offs, which has been really cool. But yeah, because it felt weird battling against my friends, which is why I never took a part of them really. So
yeah, I think it'd be really neat if there was if someone created an app where you'd basically be sitting in a VR theater watching talented people like you painting and all that.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Because the first time the masterclass thing I sat in on, I was so confused, and I think it was the same gentleman that was doing the questions for your Narnia one. I was emailing him, like, wait, this isn't in VR? Like, I was like, what's going on here?
I know. I get asked this a lot, like, can I watch you perform in VR? And it's like, there's no app there for me to do it. If now Tiltbrush is open source, maybe this could be something that people could look into. It's just nobody has time to work on this sort of build, because we're looking at a big build here. We're looking at a big app, which is basically like a multiplayer, but the other people don't have paintbrushes or paint. They just have to like sit and watch in this virtual space, and they can walk around the space. And that is something I'd absolutely love to do. And have other people performing as well all around me, and we can work together on a piece like collaboratively, and everyone could like be watching and moving around wherever they want inside the piece. That'd be so good. I dream for an app like that.
I would also envision you could literally do like classes, and you could just become like an art teacher and have classes in VR and just.
Yes, I already have done that actually, because there is a multiplayer version of Tiltbrush out, but it's not. Yeah, it's called Multibrush, but it's not like, I don't know. It's not like able for people to like sit in and watch you perform, because it's like got a max capacity room size and stuff. So it's not fully like, it's not the app that I dream of using for my performances and stuff. But it's great at being, as you said, like teaching and doing workshops. That's what it's really good at. It's just really hard to round people up, because everyone, as soon as they go inside the headset, it's like, wow, I'm going to run over here and paint over here. It's like, come on, guys, come back to this space, please. I'm here trying to do this class. It's great. It's just so good to actually have a hands-on experience inside VR with other people.
Yeah, I've done a few of the theater type apps where like you're part of the crowd and you do the acting and stuff. Those are amazing. So I was just like, apply that to painting, and that would be pretty epic.
Yeah, it is epic.
So with I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I don't know how you do it, to be honest. I'd have lost my train of thought ages ago.
That's what's been funny with us going into VR. We don't have a way to have like notes, and I'm really, really bad with names of people and games, and I'm like really
tell me about
scared
it.
like
Yeah.
to mess up. And we've done a pretty good job. Like just even remembering the episode number is hard enough. But
Yeah.
I'm
No,
not.
you're doing fantastic.
It's funny because in real life, unless like you're one of the people that are around me a lot, everyone thinks I'm like super quiet, which I don't talk a lot, which is weird because well, you've been doing podcasts, and you know I used to be in a band and I was a singer, and like that, no one can figure that
Yeah.
out, and it is bizarre, but
Interesting.
it's
Yeah.
been kind of like almost therapeutic for me to do podcasts to get myself to talk more than I normally do.
That's really interesting. That's really nice. Yeah. I was the same, like really, really shy and quiet and unconfident. And then I just sort of really forced myself to do more speaking roles, which really, really helped in that aspect. But sometimes I just have like a day where I'm just really shy and need
Yeah.
notes because my head just gets scrambled. And yeah, sometimes I just need to rein myself in. I'm a bit over the top sometimes. My brain just goes wee, and I just forget what I'm talking about.
On kind of that subject, you know how for like someone who's introverted, they have to like go do something and be alone and recharge their batteries. I know
Yeah.
with like painting is like your thing, and it's probably what you use to do that. But do you maybe paint too much to where you have to go do something, which maybe that's your outside stuff to kind of recharge that battery?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I guess I sit in my garden a lot as well. If I'm not going out for a walk and just yes, have that outside air, which
Hmm.
really does help. Even if I'm not like looking at anything that interesting, it's still just that refreshing recharge. And I try and go on a walk every day. I try and get
Nice.
out and just go on a walk, and that just really helps. It's just that calming time of day. So even if it's only for like 10 minutes or half an hour, it's still something that does really help me fuel me for the whole day.
Hmm. Have you ever tried to stream
Uh,
Tilt Brush to your Quest and be outside and paint?
oh yes, I've not streamed it because Tiltbush is actually on the Quest. So
Oh, that's right. Yep.
I've actually just done some painting before. This is actually like the first week I got the Quest.
Oh,
I
nice.
just I went out instantly and was tried it in my garden, and oh gosh, yeah, I still do it now. It has to be a cloudy day, obviously.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's so nice just to feel and smell the outside and not be on the stale indoors strapped up to a PC. That was really freeing. I enjoyed that, and just being able to like feel with the grass under my feet and stuff, and yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, you're talking about comfort. The Pro Strap, if you don't have it on the Quest 2, does make a world of difference.
Yeah,
But I remember when the first Quest came out, like took it outside to stream something, and that experience was just as overwhelming as like the first time I got into VR, if that makes sense.
yeah,
Because
absolutely.
there's no boundaries. If your yard's big enough,
Yeah,
obviously, like my room boundary was as big as it could go because I have a decent sized yard. So
nice.
just running around without having to worry about that was like, holy crap.
Yeah, that is ace. Yeah, that is really good. I dream of like doing VR in a warehouse and just being able to
Yeah.
go crazy.
That's kind of like where VR seemed to a lot of apps and games were going to like that large area scale multiplayer stuff right before the pandemic hit. So I hope it gets back to that when it
Yeah,
can.
yeah, never got a chance to go do any of the the Void stuff. I think it
Yeah.
yeah, I never got a chance to go do any of the like the Star Wars experience and stuff like that, where you like with a bunch of 4 people together and
Hmm.
stuff. And I really wanted to do stuff like that. I really did. I hope when the things will open up, I get the chance again because, yeah, it's just it's just so amazing. I'd love to experience a fully immersive installation. Really.
Yeah. We said with your work, you can zoom in and out, but I don't know like how big of a area you can really do with that. Like have you stretched the boundaries of those programs?
Yeah, with tilt brush is like a little bit of a scaleometer sort of thing, and when
Hmm.
you pull the controllers apart to zoom out, you get like a little icons that appear. One like a dog, one like a squirrel, one like an elephant, and it just that's just like proportionate to the scales that you're working with, which is really helpful.
That
So
makes
yeah,
sense now, but I didn't know where you're going with
yeah,
that.
yeah. So it's like you see what a squirrel sees. Yeah.
I was just curious, like because you can do that in probably just a smaller room. So if you could stretch that into a warehouse, I just imagine how big of a thing you could really do.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Yeah, you can also tick off the scale thing and have like unlimited scale,
Oh,
which I know some artists have done. But a lot of my works, yeah, usually a set space really that's not really massively open world that I usually do. So
like I said, got into VR and then just for gaming, and then I noticed your work and stuff. So
yeah,
like once a month, I'll hop into like Quill or whatever you can view other people's work on, and just
yeah,
take a couple hours and just check them out and just kind of sit in the. A lot of them are just kind of like little animations and just sit in them and just take them in
yeah.
and relax. Like, what's your favorite program for that kind of thing?
Yeah, that's really true. I love quill theatre. Quill theatre is like it's just so good and sitting inside, like as you said, other people's little animations. I did love Google Poly. Obviously, I would hands down would have said Google Poly because I spent so long before starting a sketch. I'd just be procrastinating, looking at other people's works, and just be like, what's on the featured page today, and just click through and have a look at what other people have been up to and liking sketches as well on Poly interface,
Yeah.
and then hopping in VR and loading up those like sketches and having a nosy what everyone's been up to is was just inspired me as well. Like if I'd seen something that someone done, I'd be like, wow, that's so cool. I'd love to be inspired by this piece and stuff like that. And yeah, it was I missed that sort of level of interacting with other people's work.
Yeah, I really like that function that you could go on there
Yeah,
and kind of, for lack of a better term, like save it and then view it when you got into VR. Because I do that on my lunch break. I just, that
yeah.
looks cool, and like pick them all up and get home and just throw the headset on. But it's too
Yeah,
bad.
I know it is. It is too bad. Yeah. Hopefully, iCosta will have this sort of social feature
Yeah.
later on.
So with Tilt Brush being open source, right? That's the one that's going open source or is open source.
Yeah, Tiltbush is open source. Yeah, so
With that, are you helping the community work with that and like kind of, because you guys are basically like modding it out to what you want it to be now, right?
yeah, the iCosta Gallery Discord has sort of become like a community hub for it, really,
Okay.
which is great because a lot of people have a lot of people who were thinking of working on the open source of Tiltbush have found OpenBrush and gone, I'd love to work on this branch with you guys. So they've like hopped
Nice.
in on Discord and talking about what features they can help add because we've got a lot of really cool features lined up. We've already added some extra features on top of Tiltbush, like a fly tool, which is really epic. You can like pretend to be a superhero flying around your skits, flying around your scenes. So
Yeah,
that is really epic.
coming back to your costumes, you in that cape showing that off. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's a really, really fun tool. I love that. I used that for my Narnia performance, actually. I flew through the wardrobe, which was really cool. And we've got some brushes coming up, so some custom brushes that people can design and stuff. It's still very much work in progress, but it's all features that the community are really wanting to implement. And yeah, it's really fun seeing everybody who loved this. Everybody loves Tiltbush. Like it has that sort of charm that when you pick it up, it stays with people. And I think this is why we got so much interest with people wanting to work on the open source version of Tiltbush because it really just captivated so many people. That when it was going and closing, all these people sort of came out of the woodwork that we've never seen before. They're just like coming out and saying, "Hey, I heard you guys are with us Tiltbush." Like people who've never known were even really being that much present in the space have just like come out, and it's like, "Hey," and that's been really, really nice seeing everyone come together. And yeah, it's been great, and I'm just really excited for the future now. What the community are going to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's passion there when people that weren't vocal in the community just come out of nowhere. And that's
Yeah.
when I talk to like game devs, I kind of bring that up because I could never be a game dev. Putting something out there is frightening because, the internet's not always a nice place.
No, I know it's
But
true. Yeah,
when
it's bad.
that's a prime example of like, yeah, you have these vocal people like maybe hating your game or app or whatever you are, but there's probably 3 times as many that aren't saying anything that are loving it. So it's just,
It's true. The people are more likely to speak about something if they hate it than speak out about something if they love it. It's hard, isn't it?
hmm
Yeah.
So I'm glad when that happened, they kind of came out for Open Brush. That's really neat.
Yeah, it was really, really good. And the community have been really supportive as well. Like, obviously, there's been like little bugs and stuff. And the community have just been like, hey, if you can fix this, we'll bump our star rating up and stuff like that. So they've just been really understanding as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it's probably that thing where like, there's a couple people there like that, were working on it or created it and they're like, I don't want this to die off and go away. So they're probably happy to see you guys take it and run with it. So
It's true, yeah. And a lot of people are doing this. Well, everyone's doing this without being paid. No one's been paid in this process. We have a donation page and stuff where the money goes to the servers and stuff like that. So it's none of us are like getting paid for this or earning a profit at all. It's all going towards maintaining the platform and everything else.
well, I'll try to get those links, and if you're listening, those
That'd be
will hopefully
awesome.
be
Yeah.
in the show notes. And
Yeah.
I know I've spent enough time, and I'm not done viewing art in VR, so I would definitely like to donate some.
Oh, well, thank you.
You guys are doing such good work.
That really means a lot. That thank you.
Nice. Well, we're almost at our hour. Is there anything we didn't get to that you really wanted to share, or anything like that?
I don't know. We've discussed a lot. This is like one of the best podcasts we've ever been on. There's some great questions that I've never had before, which is really nice.
Oh, thank you. It's
been great.
podcasts are fun because I think I approached you or reached out in like January.
Oh, I know. It was a while.
You're busy, and it's weird because I invited you. I'll come on, and this is kind of how it always goes. And then I'm really bad at staying in contact. Not that we have to talk every day, but like, I'll just send you a link before, whatever. And then to me, like when you guys come on the podcast, I don't really tell you anything.
That's cool though.
You guys just hop in and you're probably not really sure what to expect. And the weird thing with a podcast, you spend the first 20, 30 minutes kind of getting comfortable. And then the last part of it, you're finally getting into things and talking, and then it's over. It's like, oh man. So it's very strange.
Yeah. It's always really good, and as I said, I'm just really happy to be on this, and I'm really sorry about all the times that we've really tried to find a date to sync up, and it's not happened. So I'm so happy we finally have done this. So
yeah, me too, because I'm not just saying that because I'm talking to you, but your art, like I said, I could just sit and watch for hours.
That really means a lot. And obviously, I love what you guys are doing as well.
Thanks. We like to invite anyone back anytime you have something big going on or want us to help get the word out. We try to do what we can do. And
nice one.
Please keep painting and sharing because it's amazing.
Thank you.
Doing what you do. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
No, thank you. Enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Nice one. Bye.
Have a good one.
See ya.
Hello, everyone. That was Rosie Summers. She's a super talented live VR performer doing so many awesome creations. If you haven't seen this stuff, check the show notes because it is incredible. It shows off such an awesome part of VR and what VR can be and do. Check the show notes below. Check all the links. Donate to them if you really get into it. They're doing a lot of good stuff for free, like she mentioned. But for this episode, number 77 of the VR Verdict podcast, I am PJ. Wookie will be back next time. I know I said that last time, but we did a couple episodes back to back, so he will be back next week. But thanks for hanging out and listening, everyone. I am PJ, and this was my VR verdict.